Well, the nice thing about Techtoberfest is it means I get to make more videos in the month, which means I can take you guys along for the ride on stuff I may not normally make a video about. Today, I'm gonna undertake trying to recondition and repaint my SM-A8. The all-new IQ Link ecosystem for Corsair finally removes all the cable clutter from your PC. IQ Link components synchronize RGB lighting and settings between connected devices with a single wire, creating a chain of devices on a single port via the Link Hub. Take control of your system and ditch the clutter by following the sponsored link in the description below. So this is my Case Labs SM-A8. It looks like a filing cabinet or a console TV, very old school, but it was always like the staple centerpiece of my channel. And more recently, I talked about the fact that I wanted to do like a diorama in this. I've backed off from that idea for a couple of reasons. One, I'm full of very ambitious ideas that sometimes are just bigger than what I can do. And what I mean by that is like the amount of time that a small team like myself and our team is able to create, let alone taking the time to build the models these days, is very difficult for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna revive this build as my personal rig. I'm gonna retire the Inman 925 for a multitude of reasons. One, the 925 does not have any sort of ventilation on the front or on the top. It tends to recirculate hot air through the radiator, which has kind of been okay. It's been fine until I put a 4090 in there with over 500 watts of power draw. And I'll see hotspot temps reach 72, 75 C on the graphics card. And for me, that is just ridiculously hot for a water-cooled card when the air coolers are capable of doing the same type of job. So, as you can see, this thing is nasty. It is gross. And it has been sitting out here getting dust all over it, and it's just been bad. But it has been through so many different iterations in the channel. So I want to bring this back. And although I do not record in my home office anymore, which is how you guys always saw it in the background of my videos because my home office was also my studio, I just kind of want to bring the nostalgia back. The other thing is, I find it bittersweet that Thermaltake is currently being sued for a multitude of reasons, one of which being copycatting. And if you guys don't recall, one of the reasons why Case Labs went out of business is because of the fact that they were more or less copied by Thermaltake and then bullied into submission by their lawyers about being vocal about the fact that their designs were copied. Although the blame still falls on Case Labs for not having any sort of patents or trademarks or anything on any of their designs. So if you have IP or intellectual property, protect it. That said, what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna tear down some of it. I don't think I need to do a full tear down. Mostly because I will probably never remember how it goes back together. Things go into a very specific order of operations to get like the mid panel and all that installed. But there's some things I'm gonna have to take off, like the hinges and the snaps right here. This one's all bent. Okay, fortunately I have spares. You can see each panel has like these threaded nubs on there that kind of snap onto those. Like for instance, this guy right here would just go, whoop, and that's how they attach, right? It's very industrial. And this will allow me to have a lot of fun with the space. There's been a lot of aftermarket stuff developed for this case since I did my builds. Like there's mid plate, illumination plates, there's distro plates, all kinds of stuff that we can use to make the build more interesting. Plus it will allow me to do a dual loop again. I can have a 560 rad on the bottom, I can have a 360 rad on the front, I can have a 480 rad on the top, and I can have all those in there at the same time. Which so many cases will be like, oh, you can do this rad and this rad and this rad. But so many of them, you can't do them all at the same time. The volume of this thing is so ridiculous that yes, you can do it all at the same time with this. I think I've sat here looking at it enough to where I'm just tired of seeing it in this state. To give you an idea of how long it's been since I've used it, and look, I mean, when's the last time you saw these Corsair fans with the little removable rings on them? And I remember when it was all super custom because I painted the rings a different color. Anyway. That said, there's a lot of parts I'm gonna have to get for this. I might do a 14th gen build in this. I also might just do the 13th gen 13900K like golden samples that I have. I have like one that I was able to get to over 40,000 pretty easily on an undervolt. And then I found out my workstation one that I'm using can go to over 41,600 with a lot of voltage and it doesn't get hot. So I guess we'll have to see what 14th gen has in store. But with that said, I think we'll just go ahead. Oh, I need to talk about what the paint I'm gonna use is. I'm gonna try and add a little bling to this. This is the stainless steel, the 316 stainless steel paint that is a semi-gloss but metallic. I want to do a test panel on one of these to see how this looks. I gotta do some teardown. We'll kind of do B-roll style and then maybe talk about some various things, and we'll go from there. Okay, so everything's torn apart, and I've now done my test spray here, and some overspray got on the front, so I guess I'm kind of stuck now. Anyway, this is that metallic silver, which looks pretty cool, I think. See, I'm kind of conflicted, because part of me wants to maybe spray the internal components like matte black and then silver on the outside, but this is such a hard decision because the gunmetal, like this was the first gunmetal, but the thing is it's so scratched. It's got scratches everywhere and stuff, and I guess this would be like a patina build for a car, right? If you leave the patina, because this would have all the character of all the time Skunkworks has been taken apart and worked on and scratches and stuff on there. It's part of its character, but I feel like this is more of a rebirth, if you will. I think I need to do a bigger component to see how I feel about this as I'm sort of cleaning this off. Well, there's no doubt it's stuck. As you can see, I'm using a Scotch-Brite on here and it's not taking the paint off, but I'm not happy with its uniformity. It's also very grabby. That's probably because of the powder coat. Like over here, it's super grabby. I think it's something to do with the metallics in the paint or something. It's also not very uniform. It's probably just because of the textured surface that's being painted on. Obviously, I think this is the kind of thing that needs to be like buffed after. So this is a no-go for me. I now need to figure out, I think I could just end up using some of the gunmetal paints I've already used. However, I'm getting a really good indication right now how good paint's gonna stick to this textured metal because it is not scratching off, as you can see. That's good. I might still do my black interior, gunmetal exterior. I've seen that before. I've seen people take two SM88s, a black one and a gray one, and mix and match parts, which I don't think looks bad. So if I were to just now paint the parts that I want to be black, then that will work. So there's that, and then this goes right here. So that would be everything that needs to be black, as far as I can tell. Because this is also a two-piece front, I guess I could probably also have the frame inside right there be black, but the outside be gunmetal still. So black, 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 black. I don't know. Go find a picture. Corsair brings gaming to the next level with the Xeneon 45-inch flexible OLED Xeneon Flex display. With up to 240 Hz refresh rate, 0.03 millisecond gray to gray response time, motion blur canceling, anti-reflective coating, burn-in protection, and customizable bend based on user's preference, the Xeneon Flex from Corsair allows gamers to truly tailor their display to their liking. Click the link below for more details. All right, so I am gonna paint the internals black. I found a photo of a STH10, which is basically an SM88 that had the top compartment as well as the bottom. And I like the way it looks. So far, these are all the pieces that need to be black. All this, not the main components. Because basically just the exterior shell now is gonna be the gunmetal. And oh, and I need to do these too, the frames for the radiators on the bottom. I am deciding whether or not I want to just leave the external patina. I guess I just need to see, but, because the problem is like the bead blasted texture that's powder coated, any paint is gonna fill in this texture, and then I think it's gonna make it uneven. And as soon as I paint one panel the exterior color that way, I'm screwed, unless I'm gonna do aircraft remover to remove the paint, which would be fine because it won't remove the powder coat. I'm gonna be kind of stuck. So I'm just really conflicted. I have a feeling many of the commenters right now are gonna be like, leave the patina, leave the build. It's a classic, let it be, like let it show its character. And I'm starting to lean that way, I honestly am. But this is the kind of thing that once you make this decision, you're sort of stuck with it. And this is also why I guess Techtoberfest is kind of fun, because this is something I normally wouldn't do a video about. So now you guys are seeing the indecisiveness along the way. How's that different from any other day of mine? I don't know. It's just, I'm intentionally wishy-washy today, I guess. Okay, was doing things. Okay, so I painted the inside black, as you can see, with the SEM trim paint. It's always a challenge painting on something textured, because what'll happen is the paint can build up in the texture in certain areas and not others. So then you'll get smooth, shiny areas and then dull areas. So I do the best I can with trying to build it up slowly, and then I was using like Scotch-Brite to break down the high areas, then a microfiber cloth to sort of, not buff, but sort of smooth it out. Did the best I could. The mid panel's a problem though, because it has that silver paint on there, which I decided I didn't like. So that of course is filling in the textures. And I'm doing the best I can to try and recreate the texture with the paint. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna use aircraft remover, strip the paint off, repaint that piece, it'll be fine. The nice thing is I can reassemble the case right now and take that out independently of the case being together. So starting to reassemble now will not be a problem. We decided I'm gonna go ahead and leave the gunmetal on the exterior, scratches and all. I think you guys agree, Phil agrees, that the factory gunmetal should stay because it was the first gunmetal case that they had made. And then the scratches that it has received over the years is just character. So now I'm just gonna put it back together. Gross. So I'm an idiot. It does take off powder coating. It doesn't take off anodizing, duh, because anodizing is just dyeing the metal. But powder coat is still a paint. And so anyway, that's what I'm now dealing with. Gross. Let's at least show you how the case sort of looks. And then I'm gonna probably take this home, use my pressure washer with the aircraft remover to get it off, because there's so much paint on this. Thank God that mid panel is not going to really be used for anything and like covered up with a distro plate or something, because this is bad. There you go. So this gives you an idea what the gunmetal in black look like. Obviously the mid plate is not in here right now. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get such big areas like this to be uniform, especially when they're textured. But you know, I think it's gonna look pretty good, even by leaving the gunmetal color the way that it is. I'm happy that I decided to do that. I'm thinking for the loop, 520 rad, and maybe even 360 on the front dedicated to just the GPU with its own loop. And then on the CPU, it would have the 480 at the top for the CPU, which is plenty. So maybe even a 120 in the back for the fun of it. But that's as far as we're gonna get today. It's one of the things with Techtoberfest, is sometimes you may not get the whole thing, but we got something. So I'm okay with the way this is turning out. I'm not okay with the way that's turning out. That's pretty disgusting. But that's okay, it's not the first time I've ever dealt with having to strip paint off stuff. It gets pretty gross until it's done, and then it's not that gross. So, all right guys, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. And yeah, this is gonna turn into a full build, and I'm really looking forward to it.